How you guys doing? So I'm down here chilling in Georgia. So yeah, I was supposed to work on a video yesterday, but I kind of went to sleep last night. Actually, no wait. I was supposed to drop it off this morning, but I didn't finish it yet. But I had a stream with Act Nation. I was on his panel. It was actually pretty good, man. So shout out to you, Act Nation. G Larry was there as well. Shout out to you as well, G Larry, and then plus these other individual. I can't remember their names, so I apologize for that. So we were talking about the state of Blackistan, and so we were like talking about like solutions and so on and so forth. Like, what is the solution? Because like you're gonna have to face these knuckleheads no matter where you go, right? And it's very interesting because there was this guy that said something that was like very interesting. He said that in Phoenix, most people just they carry guns and all that stuff, so there is none of that. Uh, you know, Blackistan's gonna just run up on you and thinking that you can defend yourself. So it's always assumed that somebody's carrying, right? So law-abiding citizens as well as knuckleheads. Whereas in these other states where the crime is so rampant that most of the people, yeah, I know in Arizona, right? So then yeah, and then it's like, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yo, what's going on over here, right? It's similar to what's been going on in Haiti for like God knows how long. Criminals don't have the upper hand there. Yes, that is true. That is the thing where it was like in Haiti, right? Because I'm from Haiti, and what's going on is like the people that only have the weapons are the criminals and the police, and sometimes you can't even tell the difference between the two, right? So then now it's easier for like a group of criminals to go into a province or a city and stuff like that and completely take it over and threaten the individual that is there. And it's like, and it takes a lot of guts for you to actually having to go through and just like kill some of these individual because they were just like they go rampant in the neighborhood and stuff like that. So then it's very difficult. So it's like when you have a very well armed population, then it's like everybody have an equal footing, right? So, and I do agree with him saying that, like, well, yeah, you need to just like arm everybody. Everybody should have their weapon and stuff like that. So then a lot of these knuckleheads, a lot of these knuckleheads will have to stay in their place. But also, there's I think Kwame Brown said it best, right? He said something about like what did he say? Oh yeah, every culture has their dysfunction, but all almost seems like here on like in the black sector that we display the dysfunction like so vividly, right? But when they have buyback of guns like Australia, the only people who gives their guns away are like, hold on a second, I gotta read this real quick, like chat. Hold on. But when they have buyback of guns, like in Australia, the only people who give back their guns are legal gun owners. Pookie and Ray Ray keep their guns. Yes, and that's why we have to keep. People have to be more mindful of who actually, which idiots they actually put in power. Because to me, it's like this, right? Whether you're Democrat or Republicans or whatever it may be, right? I'm for the individual that's gonna commit the least amount of atrocity and when it comes to individuals' freedom and individuals' right? So and that's what it is. Like, I don't care what you associate yourself with, but if you continue to vote against not just your interests but everybody else's interests, then therefore, when things hit the fan, then we're both stuck in the same boat, and then we're both crying about the same thing, which you participated in, right? Like, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. You have this whole these mandates, right? Those the poke mandate and all that stuff. So the same. individual that was screeching about like, yo, we need to get Orange Man out of office because he's bad, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. And now electing an individual that is actually forcing you guys to do something that you don't want to do, and then now y'all turn around and call it racist because black people are the least group of vaccinated individual. So then now guess what? When black people go to a restaurant that require you to actually have a passport, are you gonna call racism? Are you gonna cry out racism when you voted for the people that's actually that is actually enforcing these rules? And that is the isonite type of mindset where it's like, bro, you need to take accountability for, you know, so you need to take accountability for the role which you play in the world you help create, you know? And it's like, that's it though. It's like, if you continuously, you continue to buy the rhetorics, you continue to buy the, God damn it, am I too close to Georgia Airport? Yeah, I think I'm too close to Georgia Airport. So yeah, you continue to, like, you give your consent to this propaganda, right? You give your consent to this propaganda, and then now, hold on a second. Yep, Orange Man bad, BLM, but now 70% of black people aged 18 to 44 in New York can't go to a restaurant, movie theater. Exactly. And this is the thing that sometimes get annoying, right? When you point that out, and then that's when they turn around and be like, well, it doesn't matter who you voted for, whether you Republican or Democrat, they all the same shit. It's similar to like when you see a chick, right, continue to make bad decisions in men, right? Let's say got pregnant by one pookie, and then got another pookie and another pookie. And then meanwhile, the plumber's right here, or some guy with a decent job and stuff like that, right? He's right here because he's not like, he doesn't have the swag. You ignored him. But then when he turns bad for you because he played with your emotion, and then you turn around and say, all you niggas ain't shit. It's like, wait a minute. What the hell does that have to do with me? I wasn't doing that, give you all these babies and all that stuff. Why are you putting me into the lot? And that is what I see with a lot of, I would say, normies, right? Because they don't do their research. They don't get involved with what's going on with the law aspect and the mandates and all that stuff, right? They just, they use the political agenda as like something that is fashionable, right? It's a trend to them. And then when they're no longer useful to actually push that agenda, and then now, as long as the agenda is no longer on TV, then all of a sudden they lose interest. Like, if let's say you go to all the people that actually during the election, right, they were very politically active, telling you about how bad Orange Man is and all this stuff and all that, right? Now you go to their page right now. They're not talking about defund the police no more. They're not talking about Black Lives Matter no more. They're not talking about none of that stuff. As a matter of fact, a day after the election, I've seen this dude, like, a friend of mine. He, like, online friend, right? Like, the day after the election, is like, well, you know what? I think us black folks, we need to actually find out what we can do for ourselves, because all these politicians, they're gonna be all the same. And I'm like, wait a minute, weren't you like a groupie for Sleepy Joe? What's going on here? All of a sudden, like, you already know this dude ain't gonna do nothing. It's like, duh, I could have told you that. And that's my point, right? Because, like, and as people, we need to stop looking at each other as like we're supposed to think the same. We're supposed to have the same type of mindset. It's like, what is cool right now? If you speak against it, then you all of a sudden you're like a coon, you're a sellout, you this, you're like, bro. You are an individual at the end of the day. Your skin color doesn't make anything. What up? All right, what up, Steven Rose? What's going on, man? And that's the thing, though. It's like and the reason why I would say Blackistan, like, Act Nation we're discussing, right? The reason why Blackistan seems like there's no hope for it is because we allowed people with bad attention to actually hide amongst the group, all because they're black, right? It's like, okay, some idiot, did some commit a crime, and then resisting arrest, got his ass whooped, or probably got shot by trying to shoot at the police, and all of a sudden, you have like people going about, burning buildings and marching and all that stuff. For what? For what? Like every culture has dysfunction, right? Every culture has dysfunction. Haiti, a lot of dysfunction in Haiti. A lot of dysfunction in Haiti and stuff like that. But what we're not advocating for the worst of the worst in our society to be a representation of us, right? As a matter of fact, we try to uphold the doctors, we try to uphold the lawyers, we try to uphold the people that actually are that provide uh, you know that provide substance to our society. These knuckleheads, the one that's actually doing all the chaos, that's making it unlivable, unbearable for Haitians to live in Haiti, we don't like them. We don't respect them. And we're sure as hell ain't gonna protest for them when they get killed by the police. We're not gonna do that. And that's like, and I know, like, I sometimes get criticism for actually speaking like this, as if like I'm some kind of coon and all that. So I'm like, dude, the same way that these Haitians that actually make it unbearable for other Haitians to live in peace, the same way I don't respect them, why should I just now come over here and now, like, applaud some of the effery that's going on in the black community? It doesn't make any sense to me. To me, it's like, if I didn't, approve of these things when I was in Haiti, I'm not gonna approve of these things when I'm here neither, right? And because of that, I'm labeled a coon, a sellout, a whole bunch of other crap. Meanwhile, the people that's saying it, they move out of the hood as soon as they get some money. As soon as they get some money, they move the hell out of the hood and everything like that, and then they could become activists from afar. Look at what was this chick name? I think something Pope, right? Yeah, the one from Black Lives Matter. Yeah, they by mention exactly. That's this chick from the Black Lives Matter founder, one of them. Soon as she, finished robbing all these white liberals, which, hey, kudos to her. If people are dumb enough to give money to a cause that actually has no standing that make any sense, you deserve to get robbed. So yeah, this chick, she got that money. As soon as she got it, she just bounced out of there. She ain't buying no multi-million-dollar house in the hood. For what? Yeah, Patrisse Cullors. Yeah. Exactly. She just get the hell out of there, man. So this we need to stop seeing things as in, like, black and white. That's first of all. I think that's one of the major issue with like, try to become this monotheist. I'm not even saying it right. Monotheist type of thinking, and it's like, as soon as somebody's black, you're not supposed to criticize them, or if somebody is this way or that way. But it's kind of funny because you can criticize a black person so long. You can't criticize a black person or actually be violent towards a black person as long as that person doesn't sway from the narrative. And the narrative is this: if you're a black person, you are somewhat a victim. You have opportunities taken away from you, and then and white people are racist, they're evil, and all that stuff. And whatever's going on with your life is not your fault. It's the white man's fault, or something like that, right? And that's the narrative that, as soon as you challenge it, all of a sudden, it's like you have people just like, they feel some type of way, you know. And with me, it's like this: like, I don't like seeing myself as victim. I don't like thinking of myself as a victim. Yeah, of course, you lose some, you win some, and sometimes you go through trial and tribulation in life. But I think the sword had to be forged through fire. So when I see the struggle that people in here in the United States are complaining about and comparing this to the lack of opportunity that we actually have in Haiti, there's no comparison. Granted, granted, I'm not saying for people to actually feel bad for Haitians. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that it is, it is Americans' duty to actually bring any type of changes in Haiti and stuff like that. I believe it is Haitians that needs to bring those type of changes in Haiti. That's what I believe, right? So, but when I make the comparison versus like Haitian problems versus American problems, there's no comparison. There's no comparison. But I also have to look back. I'm like, well, how did it gotten that bad for Haitians? That's because little by little we keep, we keep allowing certain things to take place, right? Let's say all the trees that has been cut down in Haiti, the deforestation in Haiti, it wasn't white people's fault. It was Haitians doing that, right? Cutting down the trees to make shabo and all that stuff, right? So then now the agricultural sector is pretty much damn near destroyed. The road in Haiti, every time, let's say, the Haitians population, when they're protesting, what they do, they actually put tires on the road and all that stuff, right? And they burn, buildings and all that and everything. Who's telling them to do that, right? Is Haitians doing that to other Haitians? So then, therefore, by not addressing these things, by not addressing it, we letting it actually keep going and going and going until we now have the position where it is the way it is right now with Haitians, right? So then, can I blame America for everything that's going on in Haiti? No. I mean, yeah, some of the imperial power, they can take the blame for that, but I cannot put that blame on them. The same way that, like, when I see African American, when they're complaining about certain things, and I'm looking at the opportunities that we have in this country where other blacks and other um, people of color, when they come through and they actually do something about it, and it's like they take advantage of those opportunity that you guys refuse to take, then it's like, whose fault is this? Whose fault is this? You know? So that's my point. But yeah, is there any change for Blackistan? Yeah, of course. There is change for Blackistan. There's definitely change for Blackistan. But the thing is, like, we need to start separating black people from Negroes. We need to, like, hold ourselves and each other accountable. Right? We need to be able to have a certain moral code for ourselves, for our sake. You know, it's like all the thing that we're complaining about is like, chicks and hair weave and, settling up and all that stuff. But it's like, as soon as she spread them cheeks and try to get you some coochie, be like, I'm gonna take it. Like, and these broads, these crazy broads, they know it. They know all they have to do is offer you some cheeks and you're gonna fold, you know? But you might be like, well, you know what? Guess what? I'm gonna go overseas and get them chicks. Okay, so let's say you get one of these girls pregnant and stuff like that, right? Overseas and everything. So you're gonna what? Turn them into single moms, and then what? There's no sweat in your. That's my point. It's like you gotta have a certain moral code and everything like that, right? Where it's not the easiest thing. It's not the easiest thing to do, but that's what it means to actually be able to, like, have standard. That's what it means to have standard. It's not about, like, um don't marry these bras, don't do this, don't do that, but you still procreating with a lot of them. And we need to participate in this, this system, right? If we're gonna make the changes, we gotta become the changes that we want to see in the world, right? We're tired of white people treating us bad, then we need to start treating each other like we freaking matter. That's why I don't, I every time they want to, like, overblown something like a white person did to a black person, I'm like, all right, cool, but I saw you were silent as hell when that brother was doing something else with the other brother. As a matter of fact, you screaming out world star and all this stuff when something obviously wrong was happening. But no, you only want to emphasize it when the color is reversed. That a white person might just look at a black person the wrong way, like, wow, what you're doing here in this neighborhood? Oh my God, racism, racism, racism. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, there was like, there's like 20 people that got shot in Chicago last night. Well, you know how niggas are. We can't expect to be taken seriously when we don't take ourselves seriously. You know, and that's my point. That's my point with this whole thing. Is like, and when I talk about these things, I get called coon and all. It is what it is. It is what it is. But anyways, I'm not staying for long. I gotta get going. Thank you guys for coming through. It was like a quick chat. And if it's your first time here, share, like, subscribe. And if you like the video, thumbs it up. If you don't like it, thumbs it down. It helps the algorithm either way. All right, I'm out of here. Peace. Boom, boom, boom. All right, let's get out of here.